I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for the City of Highland Park, Illinois, January 12th, 2026. Happy New Year. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Center.
Present.
Councilmember Bruckman.
Here.
Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Tapia.
Present.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Here.
Councilmember Bloomberg. Mayor Rotering.
Here, we have a quorum. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the rescheduled regular meeting of the City Council held December 12, 2025 as amended, and the minutes of the closed session of the rescheduled meeting of the City Council on December 15, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. May I have a motion to approve the warrant list?
So moved. Second.
Any comments or questions on the warrant list? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Center.
Aye.
Councilmember Bruckman.
Aye.
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia.
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotering.
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays. The warrant list is approved. The next item is the report of the mayor. I am delighted to say that the City of Highland Park has 17 commissions, boards, and advisory groups with resident volunteers who are appointed by me with the City Council's consent. These organizations were formed to provide guidance to the City Council and to adhere to existing municipal regulations. Through the Student Representative Program, the City of Highland Park offers high school juniors and seniors the opportunity to gain hands-on government experience by serving on our advisory groups, boards, and commissions. During their service, students develop leadership skills while our community benefits from the unique perspective that each student provides. We'd like to congratulate and welcome the following high school students to the class of 2027 student commissioners. I'm going to totally embarrass you if you're here, but I'm going to call your name. Please stand. Don't feel weird. Student commissioners for the Business and Economic Development Advisory Group, Aiden Feinberg and Paige Wellen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great job. Cultural Arts Advisory Group, Alexi de la Cruz Ramirez and Gabrielle Sullivan. Historic Preservation Commission, Cooper Baum and Gabby Goldstein. Thanks to them. Housing Commission, Sydney Jones and Riley Sullivan. Human Relations Advisory Group, Aluwadara Dara Babalola and Zoe Werner. Library Board of Trustees, Claudia Fincher. Thank you, Claudia. Plan and Design Commission, Chloe Pilot. Sister Cities Foundation, Sammy Gordon. Sustainability Advisory Group, Nate Goldberg. And the Zoning Board of Appeals, Zoe Heller. So I want to thank you all for your participation this past Saturday. We had student orientation, and we greatly look forward to your perspective and insights on your respective commissions. You are free to go. I am sure you have homework. I'm sorry to say that word, but you are free to leave now. Go ahead.
This is my favorite grandmother part. This is when you're like, we can't do this to them.
All right, thanks, everybody. I'm also seeking council consensus on the following additional appointments. To the Board of Fire and Police Commission, appointment to Chair Evan Witkowski from January 1st, 26 to December 31st, 27. Cultural Arts Advisory Group, reappointment of Amy Kirsten Bruno from January 1st, 25 to December 31st, 26, and the appointment of Amy Amder from January 1st of this year to December 31st of this year. Reappointing to the Human Relations Advisory Group, Paul Canchester, given that you're the chair, you should probably be reappointed as well, so thank you for that. Plan and Design Commission, reappointing Steve Kirch. He also is the chair, and we appreciate his service. Sustainability Advisory Group, reappointing Michael Klee, and Zoning Board of Appeals, appointing Sam Harmelek. I'm looking for your consensus. Do I have your consensus on these appointments? Thank you all. And thanks again to those who have volunteered to serve. We appreciate your generosity of time, talent, and expertise. Paul, you don't have homework, and you're welcome to stick around. Thank you for joining us. We have one proclamation this evening, and that is in honor of the 17th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, which is January 19th. It's presented by the City of Highland Park Human Relations Advisory Group and the Park District of Highland Park. This annual event is an opportunity for all of us to come together in celebration of Dr. King's legacy through service to others. I'm going to read the proclamation, and then Paul Canchester, Chair of the Human Relations Advisory Group, will accept it. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity for all. And Dr. King's teachings can continue to guide and inspire us. And whereas the King Holiday and Service Act, enacted in 1994, designated the King Holiday as a national day of volunteer service, and since 1994, millions of Americans have been inspired by the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to serve their neighbors and communities on the King Holiday. And whereas the city's Human Relations Advisory Group and the Park District of Highland Park will sponsor its 17th annual Martin Luther King Day of Service on Monday, January 19th. Is Monday, January 19th? Or, yeah,
it is.
okay, Monday, January 19th, at Park Fitness, 1207 Park Avenue West, from 10 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. And whereas the Day of Service event honors the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and is a community collaboration for a day of action and features purposeful service projects and entertainment to engage all ages. And whereas Highland Park residents will join thousands of Illinois residents commemorating the significance of Martin Luther King Day by performing community service that benefits communities and neighborhoods and provides a fitting memorial to the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Rodering, Mayor of the City of Highland Park, do hereby proclaim January 19th, 2026 as Martin Luther King Day of Service in the City of Highland Park, and urge all community members to join in recognizing it as a day of service throughout Highland Park, and further encourage each resident to take part in service that will benefit communities and neighborhoods and provide a fitting memorial to the life of Dr. King. I will now welcome Paul Canchester to accept this proclamation and to share more about the plans for the 2026 Martin Luther King Day of Service program, activities, and donation drop-off event. Welcome, Chair Canchester.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your strong support of the Day of Service event each year. My name is Paul Canchester. I'm Chair of the Human Relations Advisory Group. On behalf of the advisory group, we are so appreciative of the City Council's continued support of this initiative, which has grown over the past 16 years to incorporate a keynote, which one of them actually was one of our students that just left, performance and donation drive while retaining acts of service to benefit local organizations at its heart. Please join us on Monday, January 19th from 10 to 12:30 at Park Fitness to honor Dr. King's legacy through service. This year, we're delighted to welcome over 30 participating agencies. Attendees will be able to participate in a wide range of service projects, from seed processing with the Park District of Highland Park, which was featured in the Highlander this month, to creating cards for seniors, to preparing care packages for first responders. These all ages activities will directly benefit individuals in need throughout our region and are a great way to engage your family in this day on, not a day off. We are grateful to Dr. Shayla Holland, Superintendent of Township High School District 113, who will be giving a keynote address on educational equity, and to the Joel Hall Dancers, a world-class Chicago-based dance company that will present a very special performance. We encourage everyone to consider participating in the donation drop-off event, even if you can't stay for the whole program. Donation drop-offs will be available in the parking lot of Park Fitness from 9 to 10:30. Needed items include personal care items, shoes in any condition, select shelf-stable foods, bicycles in repairable condition, acrylic yarn, and other items. Please see cityhpil.com/MLK for the list of participating organizations and the items in need of donation. Again, thank you on behalf of the Human Relations Advisory Group for your support of the Day of Service event. We look forward to seeing everyone on January 19th.
Great, thank you. And I'm pleased to give you this proclamation. Thank you so much, Chair Canchester. We look forward to what promises to be a service-focused, fun celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy on Monday, January 19th. Under other business, every year the community comes together to support a deserving charity at a number of events coordinated by Highland Park High School students as part of the annual HPHS Charity Drive. Tonight, we're delighted to welcome Lucy Wallman and Emerson Schamberg to the podium to share more about this year's schedule of events and designated charity. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I'm Lucy Wallman,
And I'm Adam Chamber.
and we're the co-presidents of Charity Drive this year. So we're going to start by playing a little video. This is just a recap from last year.
Ladies, if you don't mind talking into the mic.
Amazing, amazing. And so this year,
So what is Charity Drive? Charity Drive is a large, passionate group of students. It's school-wide and month-long participation. We raise significant funds for a chosen beneficiary, and the best part is that it's completely community-driven.
Next, we have a little recap of the past charities. So you can see it's a different logo every year, and that's really cool because students design it every year in our graphic arts class. So I thought we would showcase that. And finally,
This year's beneficiary is Propel a Cure, which is an all-volunteer nonprofit dedicated to funding research into the root causes of Crohn's disease. The ultimate goal is finding a cure, and it supports innovative scientific research aimed at understanding why the disease develops. 100% of funds raised go directly to research, maximizing the impact of every donation and helping move closer to a future without Crohn's disease. how the community and anyone here can get involved. So we have an adult-only comedy night, a Palms and Jammers clinic, and parent night out if any of you have children that dance or just want a night out. Yeah.
And then we have our Mighty Cause page, which is like our general donation page. And you can, of course, donate to that. In addition, you can also order food on Takeout Tuesday, and that's all throughout the community. And you can order food, and they give us a little portion.
And lastly, one of our most successful events is our silent auction, which is when a bunch of businesses and things donate things. We have vacations, little things like signed tickets, Bears tickets, Bulls tickets, and that's like our most successful thing that anyone can join. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you to our website, which has all the events listed where you can sign up. I think the Mighty Cause is posted on there as well.
And finally, if you have any questions or want to reach us, here's our emails, and also you can scan the QR code to follow us on Instagram.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming to talk about this. We wish you great luck. I know how much work goes into this, and it's just like a full-scale blowout month of unbelievable activity at the high school and throughout the community. And you just make us proud, because I know it's coming from your hearts and you're doing everything you can to help these charities. So thank you for coming and talking to us tonight. And hopefully you'll see some of us at the auction.
Mayor,
Definitely taking things out on Tuesday, yes?
I just wanted to ask, is there a virtual component to the silent auction?
It's all online.
Oh, it's all online.
So it lasts, I think it will release towards the end of the month, and then it lasts for, I think, a week until they announce.
Thank you, that's great.
And often, I think, maybe I'm remembering this, you get like a text, like your thing, the thing that you're interested in, people are bidding on it.
Yes.
So you can participate even if you don't want to leave the comfort of your own home.
Yes, exactly.
It's pretty great.
Take
Well,
the money long distance.
right, so hpcharitydrive.org is where people should be going to view the full schedule of events, to learn more about the charity, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks so much,
If
everybody.
anyone wants a paper copy of the schedule.
Oh, do you want to leave it on with the city manager, and we'll make sure we have it out on the counter so that people who come by City Hall can take a look? Great, thank you. Thank you. Okay, is there any business from the council? No, okay. City Manager Newkirk, will you please provide the staff report? Hang on, let me give my other admonition. You too can go home. You don't have to stay here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. This is Mom speaking. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to draw the public's attention that we have 10 items on the omnibus agenda. All are recommended for approval. I just want to talk briefly about item number 8, and then certainly can answer questions when that item is called for the agenda. Item 8 pertains to a one-year proposed agreement with PACE to provide local bus service as well as service to Ravinia Festival. We've had a professional relationship with PACE for more than 3 decades. We have been for the more than a year negotiating an agreement with PACE. And so this agreement is recommended for approval. We've identified the major changes in the agreement. PACE is really looking for, there's only 3 municipalities in our area that have even somewhat comparable agreements to this. As the council knows, the PACE last year asked us to increase our insurance coverage, and so we pay for insurance. Now there's increased liability as part of that agreement. We have pushed them on that to try to get the same agreement that we've both benefited from for, again, decades, but they're really moving away from that model in all of their service offerings. So at this time, again, a 1-year agreement. We have been communicating regular updates to Ravinia Festival. It is important to note that Ravinia Festival does pay for all the transit service that they benefit from. So it's the drivers, they cover the insurance, they cover every aspect of service to their operation, but we facilitate the service through our agreement then with Ravinia Festival. So again, recommended for approval with that, and I'm happy to answer any questions when the time comes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions for the city manager? Nope. Okay. Assistant to the city manager, Palvitzka, if you could please introduce the next item on our agenda, business from the public.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item on the agenda is business from the public. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the city council on a topic that is within the council's purview and jurisdiction, but is not listed in another location on the agenda. If you would like to speak about a matter that is listed on the agenda, we ask that you wait until that agenda item is called, and we will give you an opportunity to speak then. If your matter is on the omnibus consent agenda, please let us know if you would like us to remove that matter from the consolidated list so that you can speak about it. Please be aware that business from the public is not intended to be a forum for open dialogue or engagement with members of the city council. Rather, it is intended as an opportunity to make comments to the city council. Please do not expect a response from anyone tonight. If appropriate, questions may be directed to the city manager or other city staff. All comments should be directed to the city council. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. We request that speakers refrain from throwing objects or using noisemakers, and that the public not applaud or make other comments after any speaker. We ask that everyone be respectful, civil, and non-repetitive.
Great, thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to be heard this evening on an item not on tonight's agenda? Please come forward. Thank you. And please state your name for the record.
Happy New Year.
Nope. Happy
10
New
days
Year.
in too late. I don't know what the cutoff is. Ooh. I remember there's this, huh? I don't want to trip on it. Hi,
Hello.
hello.
Please state your name.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, Sandy Lurie. Respectfully, I'm here tonight not to debate the merits of the Solo property, but I'd like to comment on the process that brought us to this point. And the point that we're at is the city desperately wants the development to proceed, but to the total exclusion of what the neighborhood reasonably is asking for and what is good for the people who live in the southwest corner of Highland Park and the city as a whole. What we didn't know then, back in April, when this was first presented, but do know now, is you have a process that is adversarial, the opposite of collaborative. We have a developer that wants Highland Park to change our existing rules for their benefit, and a government that wants to fill a long empty space and is willing to ignore those rules. What we don't have is a process that involves the citizens of the city whose lives are most affected by this development, the last large parcel of land in Highland Park. Your rule bending is to the detriment of the people in the community. We are allowed to send you as many letters as we want and to speak for 3 minutes. But that is not a give and take when there is no framework in place for direct dialogue with the city. The Highland Park does not require the developer to meet with the neighborhood, which should be a requirement for development of this size and scope. You are allowing a generational and substantive change in the nature of an entire community. By the time it gets to the point where it's at now, you just want to get it done, despite those pesky details, and let's not get too picky. This development does not meet any standards for sustainability, environmentally clean, senior-friendly, ADA-friendly, architecturally appropriate for fitting into the existing neighborhood, all items in the city's master plan. Not one question has come from the PDC nor this body regarding any of the above. Mayor Rodering and most on this council say all our input has made this a better development. But that's not true. This is pretty much the same oversized, crowded, too tall development that came before us back in April, less 13 units. It's still not properly zoned, and in a few years when it's sold, and it will be to another investor, they can pretty much do what they want. And even worse, you have dismissed out of hand city council members questioning as to why it's not zoned properly. We expected you to look out for us, for our real concerns, and we expected you to play by the rules, not bend them for someone else's benefit, not let something that is merely palatable or okay enough be imposed. Your fear that this developer will walk away has taken precedence over what's good for the neighborhood, our lives and property values. This huge development will be your legacy to the city. Is this good enough for you? And importantly, in these crazy, fearful times we are all living in, I see the clock, this neighborhood is feeling soured and unheard from the city government we once so cheered on and supported. But we do not feel supported in any way. We feel ignored.
Thank you, Mrs. Lurie.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments.
Thank you for listening.
Any other members of the public wishing to be heard this evening? Seeing none, we'll continue on with our scheduled business. Under our omnibus agenda, we have items 1 through 10 grouped together for omnibus consideration. I am seeking a motion to approve items 1 through 10.
I'd like to pull item number 5, please,
Okay,
and just make a brief comment about item number 8.
okay.
That's all right?
Do you want to share your comment on item 8?
Sure.
I think I want to pull, I just don't know the number for the, it is the,
Number 2, the United.
yeah,
Yeah, number
You want to
2,
pull
Thank
item
you.
2?
coordinator.
yeah.
Okay,
With regard to item number 8, which is the Pace Bus contract, I'm not going to pull it because I really am very grateful to the city manager for her explanation. I have severe problems with this agreement. I think it was hard fought for, and I commend staff and city manager for fighting for it, finally getting us a contract. I do not like the fact that we have the inability to terminate the contract. I do not like the fact that we are now picking up all the costs for the insurance. I'm sorry, that Pace is not picking up any of them,
but Ravinia is.
but Ravinia
picking up part
Festival
of the
is,
cost.
and that explanation makes me feel better about it. I wanted it on the record that in fact Ravinia Festival is picking up those costs, not the city of Highland Park. So that's why I'm willing to go forward with this and keep it on the consent agenda. But I feel it's very important that the city continue to negotiate very hard. This is a one-year agreement. Hopefully Pace will be more settled in that interim, or we will have an alternative that better fits the needs of our residents, because this is, it's not a good contract. So thank you for your efforts, because they really show, and it's made a difference over the year, both to Corporation Council and to staff.
How long did we not, we did not have a contract
Like 18
for a
months.
significant period of time,
over a year,
right?
yeah.
So, okay, thank you. So with that, I am seeking a motion to approve items 1, 3, 4, and 6 through 10.
So moved. Second.
Any other comments on items 1, 3, 4, 6 through 10? Any from the public? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Center?
Aye.
Councilmember Brockman?
Aye.
Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia?
Aye.
Councilmember Littleworth?
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mayor Rotering?
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays. Items 1, 3, 4, 6 through 10 have been approved. Item 2 is a resolution approving a professional services agreement with United Talent Coordinators. Councilmember Ross.
Thank you, Mayor. My comment has to do with process, and I know that, I've written to the city manager and mayor, you're both aware that there were 2 applicants for this that you were choosing between, and I did, share that I thought that Human Life Rhythms, right? That's the name. Did a really wonderful job with music last summer, including in Portland Square. And I don't, know enough about because I wasn't part of the process of interviewing the 2 companies. And with all fairness to United Talent, they, made a good faith effort. They went through our process and they were chosen. I think I can't say whether one is better than the other. My comment has to do with process and wanting to know, whether it's an architecture firm we're choosing or a company, choosing between companies like this. I would like to know that we're, get updates on this, to know that we are at a point of choosing between companies, because at least it seems like we could perhaps share, our own thoughts about, even if we're not on the interview. And I understand from your email that it isn't, reasonable to have us in the interviews, not to have a council representative in the interviews, but to at least be apprised of the fact that you are interviewing companies. You know, maybe we have a personal experience or something, some light to shed or some preference. It would be nice to have a heads up that the interviews are happening. That's my comment.
So thank you for those comments. I think it's important to note that this was done through a process that we generally apply as a city when we're looking at vendors. We're subject to state law in certain circumstances. We have a very clear process. Also, we are a council manager form of government. That's the format that we adopted in the late 1950s, which says basically we are here to guide policy, but we have hired a professional manager and a professional team to perform the operations of the city. And to that end, I appreciate the work that our staff committee put into assessing those who had responded, I believe, to a request for proposals. My understanding is the organization that was chosen has 40 years of experience in this work and has worked with us in the past. So I'm eager to see how things turn out this year. We're always back at it again in the future, and I appreciate you raising your concerns. Thank you.
May I respond to that a little bit? I appreciate staff's work interviewing. I appreciate all the effort that went into it, and I do put a lot of trust and faith in staff. And I feel that, you know, since I first wrote to you, I've had some time to think about this and learn a bit more. I am going to support it at this point, but I don't see how it is, you know, going against the policy of having this manager run, you know, city to update us.
Yeah, Mayor. if I
Sure,
may
go ahead.
answer. So I did a communication with Councilmember Ross earlier today, and certainly understand your request. And I guess what I would suggest is this course of action. So of our total budget, more than 20% of our expenditures are on contractual services. So even right now, I just looked at our website, we've got 15 RFPs that we are soliciting competitive proposals for. And so we've got different teams consisting of our expert staff that make up all these projects and then that are working on them. So our work plan for the year includes major initiatives. And so the council and the public has a general idea of what major projects that we're initiating and the approximate time frame of when those are being done. So for example, if you're interested in structural plan review and inspection services and are like, hey, I know a firm that does this work, then you know approximately when we're doing that, and then you can contact me at any time and just say, hey, can you just make sure that this firm gets a copy of our RFP? And so we can do that way. The other thing is the city council also gets preliminary agendas 1 week before our meeting. And so I've got a staff meeting tomorrow. I'm going to talk to our staff about moving that time frame up an additional week. So you'll get them. So tomorrow you'll get the preliminary agenda for the meeting on the 26th or whenever our next meeting is. And so you'll have an idea of what is on the agenda. So if you are interested in something that's going to be on the agenda, you can call me and just say, hey, can you just give me a status report of where they're at? I want to accommodate your request, but it would be extremely challenging if I have to give a comprehensive report to the city council on every aspect of our operation. I mean, that's like really getting into the weeds of day-to-day management. So I think those options, I would say,
That's definitely
seems reasonable.
a step, a really big step in the right direction to get earlier notice, earlier draft agenda, I think.
Well, you wouldn't get the full agenda. You're just going to get the title of what's on the agenda because the staff is still working through
the packet,
everything. Yeah.
background.
The earlier, I mean, I guess in general, the earlier we can get information, the better, to the extent that it is reasonable and appropriate. The more information, I've talked about this before, and I don't want to take up too much time. We're going back into closed session, and it having to make decisions on things, with only 3 days of awareness of a topic is often challenging. And yes, and I do feel that these two companies went, through a, fair process in terms of, putting their best foot forward, to the city. And I think at this point, I want to honor that, but make you aware that that's how I feel, that I certainly don't want to feel like I'm, rubber stamping something that I'm not totally comfortable with. So I guess I'll have to work through this. But yeah.
Thank you for your comments. I think it's important to note that under state law, it's required that these agendas be placed publicly and for our notice by 48 hours prior to the meeting occurring, and we are receiving them on Thursday. So we are already doubling the amount of time that's required by law. And I think it's also important to note that in these contracts, the significant amount of work that's going into them needs to be made as an objective assessment. And I feel that that's something that our staff is dedicated to. They are very ethical in their approach. It's not favors for friends up here. We are looking absolutely at what is best for the community, both from a fiduciary standpoint, from an ethics standpoint, and from a state law standpoint. So I appreciate your comments. I appreciate the hard work of our team. With that, I'm seeking a motion to approve item 2.
So moved. Second.
Any other comments or questions on item 2? Any from the public? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Center?
Aye.
Councilmember Brockman?
Aye.
Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia?
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mayor Rotering?
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays. Item 2 is approved. Item 5 is an ordinance amending section 119.320 of the Highland Park Code of 1968 as amended, which is eliminating citizenship requirements for liquor licenses to conform with state law. Councilmember Littlewer.
Thank you. So I have a couple of questions that I would like to publicly ask of both council and staff before this goes through on the consent agenda. I'd like to lead off by saying that I am in favor of this. It makes perfect sense. It's a law that should have been changed long ago. Clearly, we didn't know it was on there. It has to do with the citizenship requirement in order to have a liquor license in the city of Highland Park. And while we are a home rule state, city, and can do certain things, on its face, it seems almost unconstitutional because origin is going to be at play under federal law. And the state of Illinois changed this to ask those of us to not have this on our books in 2019. So my first question is, why are we bringing this up now? My second question is, have other cities moved to do this? This is the kind of research that we did when we studied a liquor license amendment for a year. And this one on its face is almost as egregious, and this was going to go through on the consent agenda. And so I want to make sure that we've done our due diligence in changing it before we simply change it. And I do believe it should be changed, but I would like answers to my questions before we do that, if that's possible.
Thank you. First, I did flag this this issue a while back. We determined, or the staff determined, when would be the appropriate time to bring it to the city council. We have made sure that no liquor licenses were issued pursuant to, or denied pursuant to this section. In terms of other towns, it's quite common, Councilmember Littlewer, and I did look into this actually, as you gave me a little heads up, and I appreciate that. I did do a little survey. Many towns still have this on their books. Many towns, as you know from when we last looked at the liquor code, simply adopted by reference the state statute and the state criteria. And most don't make changes simply because the state changes. They make their changes when they do periodic reviews of their code, as we do in many other sections, and as you know, we are embarking on. But nevertheless, we flagged it for the city, and the city is bringing it to your attention now.
Okay. Let me just see if I had any other ones on that. What, I think this is a larger question, and it's something that when we began our work plan at our May meeting as a council, we talked about going through our entire code at this point once to make sure that old laws that are either out of date or no longer appropriate, snowball fights, the speed limit for horses in the town of Highland Park. I mean, there's certain laws that we just need to get off our books. And then obviously, we want to be in compliance, whether that's with First Amendment law or liquor laws under the state, under federal law, it doesn't matter. But I know that we as a city would like to be in compliance, and I know we've begun embarking on the process of correcting our code and updating our code, and I just want to make sure that it is done in a methodical and strategic way. And this is the beginning of that process, but I don't think it's something that should be on a consent agenda. I think that this council and this town should be more aware of what we're changing on our books, and that we are in compliance with all the laws that are done downstate and federally, that we are in the right place.
Mayor, I can
Sure.
address this if you like. So thank you, Councilmember Littwer. So I did email the city council late last month just about this matter, and just made sure that everyone understood the context of the background. There was a business that this regulation on our books pertain to. And again, as Corporation Counsel indicated, we were still moving forward consistent with our past practice, but we just felt it was warranted to bring forward the amendment at the next available meeting. So that was kind of just the brief background on that. As it pertains to just general municipal code amendments, I mean, that is something that we do regularly throughout the year when we find something. You know, we do.
Item 10 on tonight's consent agenda.
Correct,
Just
right. We do our due diligence, review it, coordinate with Corporation Counsel, communicate with the City Council, and then bring forward those changes. As it pertains to your specific request and looking at the totality of the code, as indicated, we will be adding this to the 26 work plan. So overall, our major project work plan is going to be presented for public review at the next City Council meeting, so you'll see it on there. But please know, this is a multi-year effort. And so, right, so
Absolutely.
we are going to be identifying every section of the code when it was last reviewed and putting together a plan for addressing those. And then, of course, even outside of that process, there are things that, as things come up, we realize a change of the code is warranted, and then we'll just move forward accordingly as schedules allow and based on other considerations.
So I'm thrilled that this will be on the 26th work plan to get us, you know, really rolling on all of this. But I also think that it's probably not a bad idea, and I don't know if we do this currently, but I know when the state legislature, you know, recesses, then by the time you have the governor either accept or not veto a particular law that's been passed, by August, they know what any additional requirements are for us as a city. And even though we're home rule, it would help maybe on an annual basis to have a report, because that wouldn't be overwhelming as it would pertain to us. So just
We
add that
actually
on the
got
calendar.
I mean, not to tout our Corporation Counsel, but we did get a great summary last week of laws that changed that were going to be impacting
You
municipalities.
should have all received.
And we read it carefully. And I mean, I'm not kidding.
No, I'm just saying, but I think on an annual basis, it's a really, and we have
That is on
gotten.
an annual basis. And it's actually more frequent than that. When things are changing, we are getting summaries. that are pertinent.
We will do those alerts, but I understand this additional point, and we can certainly do that.
Thank
Not
you
a
very
problem.
much. I think that's a wonderful.
Not a problem.
timeframe. Thank you. And thank you for all your work in bringing this to us, because we are
My
correcting
pleasure.
it.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
I just want to relate my own experience over the last 14-plus years, actually longer than that. The process of reviewing the city code to find things that are either out of date, poorly drafted, or have changed in consequence is an ongoing, regular process that is not necessary, in my opinion, to be on a work plan. It's part of the fundamental efforts that the council, Corporation Counsel, and our staff engages in on an ongoing basis. And this goes back to my time on the Plan Commission, when our corporation counsel, who is here because we have discovered it's more effective to have private counsel contracted to the city of Highland Park, discovered a problem in the way we described floodplains that affected the construction of the Highland Park Rec Center. And the addition to that the Park District wanted to make, it would be impossible to see that. It involved a comma that essentially changed the meaning of how that was considered. And sometimes it's hard to know that until it actually comes into play, as in that instance. On the other hand, as the mayor pointed out tonight on our agenda, it was discovered that there was a certain part of our historic preservation and landmark designation process that referred to other parts of the code that don't exist anymore. So that's being corrected, and that is nothing that needs to be discussed in detail. That's sort of a pro forma, non-substantive issue. Tonight's issue involves a change in state law. The issue that we dealt with before was a permission by a state law that we had no reason to necessarily know about until it had an impact on the business of the city council. So I support what Corporation Council does. I support what your goal is to update our code to make sure that it's current, but it's an enormous code, and devoting more than a reasonable amount of resource to it becomes an enormous expense and burdensome. To the extent that we avoid negative impacts from unintended parts of the code, that's certainly very important, and we want to do that as much as possible. I think overall we've done a good job with that.
And with that, I'm seeking a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments or questions on item 5? Any from the public? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Center? Aye. Councilmember Bruckman?
Aye.
Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia?
Aye.
Councilmember Littlewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mayor Rotering?
Aye, 7 ayes, no nays. Item 5 is approved. Item A, under other business, is consideration of final plan development and final plat of consolidation for 734 Central Avenue. Community Development Director Joel Fontaine.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. This item is coming back before you. It's in final form this time. As you recall, you may recall it had been before the City Council in May as a preliminary plan development with preliminary plat of subdivision. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. So the recommendation for this evening is for the council to consider the Plan and Design Commission's recommendation to approve the final plan development, the final plat of subdivision and design review related to 734 Central. If appropriate, direct documents be drafted for final action by council, and staff does recommend that. And staff recommends that the streetscape plan be revised to depict brick pavers for the downtown streetscape program. As you may recall, the project is a 6-story, 11-unit multifamily residential development with one affordable unit included. The first floor consists of a parking garage and entryway into the building. Second to fifth floors are residential units. The 5th story is stepped back as needed. Per our code. The 6th floor consisting of 2 penthouses with roof access and a pergola structures are included on this building. And so the 6th floor is not a full footprint floor. It is a 6th floor. It does meet the definition of a story. And so therefore it does require relief. However, it does not consist of the entirety of that area of the building below it. And as I mentioned, there is a one inclusionary affordable unit in the building. So the preliminary plan back in May 2025 is shown on the left, and the final plan on December 2025. And so what's shown here and the differences here are the concrete unit pavers proposed for the sidewalk. As I had mentioned just a moment ago, staff recommend that those be pavers per the city's downtown streetscape treatment, not the concrete unit pavers depicted in these plans. The applicant is amenable, is my understanding to that. And additional shrubs were included in the plans. So in terms of the commission and council consideration, the final plan development and final plat of subdivision with design review came before the planning commission December 16th at the public hearing. And the public hearing was triggered by the additional volume that was added to the penthouses on the top floor there. The Plan and Design Commission recommended approval 5-1, design review 6-0. Just by way of reference, the last consideration of this matter was May 27th, 2025, when council voted 6-1 to grant preliminary approval. In terms of changes, a significant change or a substantial change by the code definition of substantial is the additional volume proposed for the 2 penthouses that constitute the 6th story. This did trigger a new public hearing. Now, the height of that 6th story hasn't changed, but the volume of the 6th story has. And so the area has increased from 193 square feet to 697 square feet. And that's in total, both penthouse units. Various other minor changes were made. The area of the pergolas decreased from 802 to 576 square feet, and there was a reduction of 1 parking space. However, it still does meet the code. And as I had mentioned before, the additional shrubs were added, and the unit pavers, the concrete pavers were shown. However, we do want the downtown treatment. This shows the rooftop, or the 6th floor, if you will, and we do refer to it as a rooftop. It's mainly a rooftop, but it does constitute a story by our code. And so you could see here in May what the footprints were, and now the December final plans and what's changed on the roof. Some things have been moved around a bit, and the sizes have changed, as I had indicated previously, and is shown in the upper right-hand portion of this slide. The north elevation, this is how the preliminary and now the final plans look from Central Avenue. Next, west elevation from McGovern. And the other changes I had mentioned, the roof information was provided on the roof about the rooftop mechanical equipment screening and acoustical mitigation. That was in your packet. And they did include a bike storage system. And you can see here that it does have enough capacity to accommodate 13 bikes. And so, as council had directed in previous council meetings last year about bike parking requirements and how they should be considered as part of planned unit developments, this is a reasonable accommodation for bike parking for a development of this size, 11 units. And so we think that the 13 spaces make some sense and should be included as they are. In terms of modifications, the update here, there's been very few, there's no change in height, as I mentioned, to the 6th story, but it's a greater volume, and therefore, before you, again, for consideration. All other aspects are the same. And if you look back at the 15-foot step back, it's provided on the 5th floor, okay? And I mentioned that earlier, but I did want to put a finer point on that, the 5th floor, which meets the code. However, only 4.67 feet of the 15 additional feet of step back required for the 6th floor is provided. So the 5th floor is fully step back per code. It is the 6th floor, that smaller footprint floor on the top, that is not set back an additional 15 feet. That has not changed. I just wanted to clarify what I was saying earlier. Next slide. Here we're showing that there's a change in terms of the shade and ornamental trees. That there are 4 more than council previously approved. So we have more shrubs. And then other modifications stay the same. If there's any questions about those, there are no changes there from the preliminary approval. The parking, we did talk about at last time that the applicant's requesting the 15% off-street parking reduction based on the proximity to transit, and that they reduce the number of spaces by 1 But that still exceeds the 19 space requirement that would otherwise be with that 15% reduction in parking. In terms of public benefit, this project did trigger a public benefit for the overall height and the periphery yard relief that is included. And the applicant is proposing a cash donation of $25,000 to the Downtown Streetscape Improvement Fund. That's increased by $15,000 from the preliminary consideration. We have here the section 150-515 standard related to public benefits. And as I mentioned at the outset, the height and periphery yard relief requires a public benefit. In terms of the subdivision, it's the same as was previously preliminarily approved, and it does include a subdivision variation related to lot depth as shown here. Recommendation is that the council consider the planning commission's recommendations and direct staff to draft final documents for final action by council. And of course, we do recommend that the streetscape plan be revised to depict brick pavers for downtown streetscape program, and that be provided as part of that set of approval documents for final action by council. That's the end of my presentation, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Tapia.
Yeah, can you go back to the illustration of the side-by-side pre and post?
Sure.
So
Which one, on the rooftop are you on?
North.
Or the-
the other one, the side-by-side, from the outside.
The
north-facing view.
elevation?
This,
North, yep.
Okay.
yeah. So, I mean, I saw your bullets about what's different. I'm just trying to do justice to the illustration here, trying to see what is different between left and right. Like, can you just like point it
The
out?
big portion on the roof, those parts.
So from this view, these are larger than they
And the
were
pergolas are small.
originally.
Okay,
So they were smaller, and then the pergolas have changed in size, but does not appear to be from this vantage point. As a matter of fact, this one looks a little further out over here, but the overall area of those pergolas was reduced.
okay, so
Plan view, I guess.
that's what, this is just focus on that part of it, right?
All right.
And then, okay, now go to the previous one. Yeah, so what, can you just do the same thing specifically? What is different?
So what you're looking at here is the size, these areas here, the penthouses are larger than they were before. And the pergolas have changed in size and are smaller.
Okay.
You can refer to the applicant to describe further if you'd like, but that's
Okay.
essentially what they're proposing. And over here, you can see these are the AC units. They're going to have those screened, it's behind the parapet, and they have screening as well going to be installed. That will have acoustic reduction or mitigation as well, so that folks on that roof area can enjoy that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilmember Lidler?
So I have a couple of questions. On the preliminary plan, were there actually penthouses on there?
Very small. They're basically entryways to get onto the roof to be at the pergola area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the pergola is an open-sided structure?
But that's my
Yeah,
understanding,
it's just the
yes.
transparent.
Yeah, okay. So that's one question. Can you do you have the picture from the packet of the Central Avenue elevations? Not of the May to December, but of the neighboring building to the west?
The two-story building to the west.
No, not the
McGovern.
two-story. I want the other six-story.
McGovern.
Thank you. West, not east. You know what I mean? So that, I want to see what the street looks like.
I'll have to pull up from May.
While that's being pulled up, I have a question for you. You said that the fifth floor will still have a 15-foot setback, which is.
Step back, yes,
Which is what is required.
correct.
So my question is the sixth floor supposed to be 15 feet back from the fifth, or it's from the regular structure?
Additional 15.
Additional 15 from the fifth.
Yes.
Is that
I
correct?
think that's, yeah.
This is were these the
There's another
Rendering.
picture where you see them both flat. I just want to see if it looks like a greater density or the same height in terms of volume. I can give you the page if you want it.
It certainly is a greater volume, and I indicated from 193 to, and I believe it was 600.
Maybe
Page
the applicant could
398
come
of the
forward.
packet has it.
Let's defer to the applicant to address.
We're happy to have the applicant and his attorney come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, my name is Cal Bernstein. I'm the attorney for the applicant. Happy New Year to all. I'm here with Nate Kipnis, who is the architect, proud member of the class of 79 of Highland Park High School. Before I turn over to Nate, with regard to the setbacks regarding the 6th floor, nothing's changed regarding that. That's what was approved back in May and the preliminary approval. What has changed, and Nate's going to describe it in a second, is that those we're calling them dog houses, expanded and make them larger so they could actually function properly as the rooftop structures were designed. So Nate, why don't you explain what you did with
So when we originally designed it, they were dog houses, which is just to get up to the rooftop.
Right.
And as we got into the ADA issues, how do you actually get up there if you're handicapped? So what we did is we have a room, the pergolas got smaller, the rooms got bigger. There's a closet that runs from the 5th floor to the 6th floor if someone wants to put that in. Excuse me, the framing is all set for that. So it's very easy to do. We reviewed this with the Illinois ADA, with the Illinois Capital Development Board. So
So it would have a
Like an
space for a
elevator?
lift.
they can put
Or a
in
lift,
a
wheelchair
Lula,
lift.
a light use elevator.
Right.
That is, it's a private elevator, just for the 5th floor to get up to that area, if they even need it.
Okay.
How large is the room now? And I don't mean is it a penthouse? I mean,
It's a single room, and one of them, I'm going to give you a dimension, and this is actually kind of like bigger than what it really is because it overlaps with the stairs, but it's 18.4 by 21.9 to the outside, and the stairs come inward. The other one is smaller. The other one is
by 19.
17.1 by 22.8. Square feet is 387, and the other one is about 400, 399.
So you're saying that the primary usage of them is really to get people
Well,
to get
yeah,
up there?
it's a room. Certainly, people will be using the room, but if we don't have it, there's no way to get an elevator up there.
Okay.
So as long as we're doing that, we're doing both.
All right, so that's one question. And I just want to clarify one more time because I'm still not sure. You're saying that for the 5th story, you have the adequate setback of 15 feet. But then on the 6th story, is it the 15 from there and 4.5?
Yes.
Yes.
And that has not changed since May.
Okay, but I just want to double check that that's what it is because if that's, yes. Okay, and then I just want to see that one picture for the step back is provided 5th floor, 4 feet of the additional 15 feet. Okay, that's great.
There it is.
That's,
So we're
That's-
talking about the 6th story, which is that smaller penthouse area. And just to be clear, those penthouses, those aren't units unto themselves. Those are associated with the units below them.
Right, that-
Right, just to be clear, it's not a dwelling unit, so it's not a studio, for instance, in terms of a
Right.
standalone unit. Yeah.
Councilmember Ross?
Thank you, Mayor. I was supposed to be at the December 16th meeting, but I had to be out of town. Tried to get somebody to replace me, but so you first came to PDC in May of 2025, right?
It was the council. We were at PDC in the spring.
In the spring.
I think we had a pre-application meeting and then 3 public hearings. at
Okay,
PDC.
so, but I mean, it's quite a few months.
Yes.
Grown
And
a beard since then.
why not propose, why wasn't that proposed to PDC to begin with? is,
Things evolve as we just had discussions with the Illinois Capital Development Board and,
and
that's really where that came from.
I guess, I mean, it just seems like, we went through a whole process and it was a little, there were issues about the height, and bulk, but anyway, so many months later, you come forward with additional bulk. And I understand that it probably won't be visible from the street.
It will not be.
Yeah, it's, I guess my concern is that, little by little, Central Avenue, each project is justifying the next one. I mean, McGovern was, you're using McGovern as sort of a precedent for this project. I mean, you referenced it in one of the PDC meetings. And I guess this is more to council, that just simply making you aware that my concern is that over time, there's just a wall of buildings on Central Avenue. And I guess I wanted to, to bring that up. I do respect the fact that PDC went through, you and PDC went through a lengthy process. They, moved it forward. It's just that I am foreseeing that, the next project is going to use 734 and McGovern to justify its height and so on and so on. So that's, I guess, what I'm bringing up. I didn't have an opportunity, at the December 16th meeting, I wasn't there, but that's what I wanted to bring up. Just to put that on the radars of my council colleagues, that inevitably, Central Avenue is just going to go taller and taller as each one justifies the next
Mayor, may I respond?
project.
Actually, I want to respond.
Okay.
Wasn't the vote 7 people on this project? Didn't we?
No, this would be to direct draft documents.
No, but when we moved this, at the
Oh,
May meeting,
I have nothing against it.
it was 6-1, but Councilmember Bloomberg was the no, not Councilmember
That's
Ross.
right.
Thank you.
That's
So
right.
that's why I'm like, I think you
But
already approved this.
No, we did. It's just
Okay.
that the bulk changed. And it just becomes, justification. I think it's a reasonable thing to bring up that, I did support it then. I did vote for it.
Okay. I just wanted to be.
But the project also changed. At this point, because PDC did go through its process, I am, supporting this too. I feel that it's, we have a process and PDC and the applicant went through it, but it did change, so.
Mayor, may I
yeah.
respond? I would just note that we understand that there was this change on the 6th floor, which is actually just these little rooms on the top to be able to support the roof decks. But as a result of those changes, the staff required us to re-notice this matter, and the matter was re-noticed. And so I sent out another 150 certified letters to people so that they would be able to notify of the December 16th. So we actually went through this process twice, because we had the process in the spring, and then we actually noticed up a new public hearing. And that's what we conducted at the PDC. So the public had the opportunity to come and make any comments. They received all the notices. I will note that we do have the support of all our neighbors, Sunset Foods, the owners up to the east. So, and nothing's changed since then. So, and the additional height, again, is just triggered by these rooms on top, be able to support, basically create more outdoor space on rooftops. And I think that's something that I think the council liked back in the spring. The PDC obviously liked it because they supported the project.
Thank you. Councilmember Bloomberg?
Thank you. One other thing that unfortunately has not changed since May is my vote.
I assume that.
I don't want to belabor the points that I made at that time. I do appreciate your coming back here. I think it was appropriate to do that, and I think the comments that you're getting this evening and along the way have probably been helpful. I do want to make one comment with respect to McGovern and the relationship of this building to McGovern House. When McGovern House was approved, that was just after we allowed buildings to be built to this height. So I don't have a specific problem with the height. As I specifically identified last time, my issues have to do with other bulk and density issues. But McGovern House sought a variation or a variance from the new height restrictions. This building isn't really seeking those variances. The height requires setbacks. There is a setback at the top. I don't think the setback at the 5th floor is one that I'm comfortable with. That's debatable, but that has a little bit to do with my position regarding the development. Overall, I understand the challenges of the property, and so I don't want to belabor it. I made most of my comments at the May meeting.
Thank you. Any other, Councilmember Sanchez?
Just a quick point of clarification, and this might be for Corporation Council, but the comment from the city staff around the streetscape and the request for brick pavers, is that already incorporated into what we're voting, or do we need to make an amendment to what is in front of us as a council to include that?
So tonight, all that you're doing is directing the preparation of documents. That will be included in the documentation that you see coming back.
Thank you.
Any comments?
Can I
Yep.
see that one picture again?
Do you
I mean,
have a
we haven't
picture
seen it
of
yet.
the datum of the
It's page
McGovern?
398 of the packet. And it's the north view so that we can see McGovern and this building side by side.
You should be able to download it from the website.
Just trying to think if it's anywhere else.
There is that drawing. I mean, it
Central
exists.
Avenue elevation. 398.
It's not it. Where's McGovern? There, that's it.
What page is that?
That's it.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell on a building, on a picture like that where it cuts it off at the head. That's why I want to see it on a,
So page 398, you're saying?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's page 398 in the packet that we all went through. The way it's cut, you can't see it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, but it has the height. The height is the same.
Yeah, well, that's,
The height is the same. 73 feet, 11 inches.
Except
Yeah, there you go.
McGovern doesn't have any
That's
thing
it.
on top.
rooms on top, like
Yeah.
That's
it's
it.
mechanical.
That's the picture.
There's special care to consider the height of the adjacent building there in their development through this process. And so that was specifically called out.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments or questions from the public? No. Thank you. So at this time, I'm seeking a motion to request the drafting of documents for final action. For item A.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Final action consistent with approval.
Consistent with approval. Okay. Any further comments? Nope. All right. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Councilmember Center? Aye. Councilmember Brockman?
Aye.
Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Tapia?
Oops, aye.
Councilmember Littleworth? Councilmember,
You didn't vote.
I know.
All right. Councilmember Bloomberg?
Councilmember Bloomberg?
No.
Mayor Rotering?
I'm going to say no.
No?
All right, I'm an aye. So 5 ayes, 2 nays. We will see these documents coming back for final approval at a date in the future.
Yes.
All right, thank you. With that, I am seeking a motion to go into closed session for purposes of discussing purchase or lease of property pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2C5.
You took all the fun out of it.
I know.
So moved.
Is there a motion?
I said so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the vote? Sorry.
Councilmember Center. Councilmember Bruckman. Aye. Councilmember Ross. Aye. Councilmember Tapia. Aye. Councilmember Littlewer.
Aye.
Councilmember Bloomberg.
Aye.
Mayor Rotary.
Aye. I just wanted to.
Yes, I know, it's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, yeah, no, I know, I know. It's just the
That's why I said what I said.